Hey y'all, how's it going out there, folks? All right, so it's been a week since we've last sat down in the garage, and I have a very special episode planned out for you today. All right, things kind of went south last week after our episode. All right, Joel, Ed, and I went down to a possible UFO crash site. All right, well, we were in over our heads. Also today, we're gonna be reading some emails. Y'all, I just got my first computer, and it's some crazy shit. We're gonna be talking about social media. We're going to be talking about some crazy sumbitches. Ain't that right, Ed?
Sure is, Dale.
We're going to be talking about the technological revolution and the extinction of the railroad. You know, we got beer, cigarettes, whiskey, and expensive electronics, all right? So we're going to fuck some shit up. Ed, would you like to welcome our special guest?
Fuck. Well, today our special guest is Joel Bradley.
Hey y'all, how's it going? Joe Bradley here.
So Joel was our special guest last week, as you all may have tuned in and heard. All right? And before we get started, we're going to crack a couple of beers, you know, and get the show on the road. How about that? Cheers to you, Joel Bradley.
Oh, yeah, man,
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so first things first, you know, how you feeling after last week?
Well, you know, last week, quite a bit went down. Quite a bit. You know, we went to go investigate that possible crash sighting. Things got real crazy, you know.
Yeah, things got real crazy, folks. See, we went down there, you know, guns a-blazing. I had my camcorder. We saw some crazy shit down there, folks, all right? And just as we were expecting, really. I mean, what else was burning in the sky like that? Basically, we got into a little bit of trouble down there, all right? There were some black tie fellas down there that just weren't going to have our company.
Well, those motherfuckers think they can control everything about me, and I just can't stand for it.
No, and I stand for Eddie on that one, too, you know? What do you think that was? That piece of junk that we saw down there. What do you think that was, Joel?
I have a feeling it was a piece of an unidentified aircraft.
It was like glowing like mystical colors, like shit I ain't ever seen before, all right? Ed, how could you describe that color we witnessed?
Well, it was more like a magenta green.
Yeah, I mean, some things, it was almost like a light that you didn't just see. You kind of felt it, too, you know? My camcorder was... It was taken away from me. They confiscated the videotapes. These black tie gentlemen, you know, he says, you know, what are you guys doing with shotguns down here? You know, you got permits for those? And you know what I said to him? I said, hey, ain't nobody got a permit for these things around here. You know that. He kind of laughed with us. You know, I tried to play the good guy card. You know, kissed a little ass.
Well, you know what I said? I said my permit's in the Constitution.
I didn't stick around as long as Joel did, but tell me, it looks like you got to go for a little trip up north, right?
Yeah, so, you know, Eddie got so lippy, you know, they were about to take some forceful action against this man right here. And, you know, I wasn't for that. So I kind of kept talking with him, you know, semi-peacefully, passive-aggressively, you know. But I'm trying to get answers, folks. We're trying to get answers. And, well, they ended up loading me up. And, yeah, they took me up north. You know, you get in the SUV, you can't see out of the windows. There's a divider between the driver and the front seats and you.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy, folks. That's crazy. You know, it's kind of like the stuff you see in movies, right? I did have to sign a few papers while I was down there. I'm not supposed to disclose what we seen down there or whatever, but you know, I'm protected by the First Amendment. Am I right, folks? I can say what I please.
You know, so when they had me up north, you know, they had a lot of questions. You know, they brought me into a room, you know, just asking me what's my business there. You know, what did I see? What did I make of it? What did I think of it? What were my intentions to do with the knowledge that I could have gotten from it? That's what they really wanted to know and why they wanted to know it. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know why it's any of their business what I'm doing. You know, it's my right.
Yeah, so basically Joel, he kind of was playing, you know, a little bit back and forth with them, you know, because, you know, whether it is or isn't their business, you know, I think that every American has their right to privacy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking a little bit about that later on the show, too, is, you know, your right to privacy. And I don't think I would be able to comfortably, you know, talk about what I saw anyways. You know, it's not like you're having a conversation with some friends.
Yeah, you know, when you're in there, it's not some sort of friendly environment like what this is whatsoever. You're not just, like, talking about what you see and saw. Like, there's this question after question, pressure, you know. And I just kept my silence.
Well, these guys, I bet you these guys are aliens.
Really? Like kind of like some Men in Black type of stuff?
Yeah, they're trying to recover their spaceship.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. These men, they were very interesting folk. They were not human folk, whatsoever.
They were acting very strange.
Very
Kind of like
strange.
robotic, you would say.
Yeah,
They were kind of
exactly.
robotic. I kind of got that same feeling.
Plain
I was
and
talking to
Plain and act of the
they was
human.
wearing sunglasses in the middle of the night. Who does that?
Only
I know
pe-
Eddie does that when he's wasted sometimes, but these guys weren't wasted.
these guys were not human at all.
They were highly intelligent, very well spoken individuals, I would say.
Especially for, I would say, government that is particularly local. I mean, they didn't come from miles away just to.
It could be. Maybe it's some Freemason stuff. Maybe it's some secret society. Who knows? That's what we're here to do, folks. We need to question this kind of stuff, all right? Because it's going down in my backyard pretty much. It could be going down in your backyard too. What steps are people taking these days to prevent their rights from being violated? all
Well,
right?
the only right I particularly believe in is the right to bear arms.
Well, there's plenty of other rights that protect you in the Constitution, Eddie.
The only amendments I care about is the first and second. All the other ones go suck a dick. Like the amendment that gives rights to women.
All right, Eddie. We're gonna cut you off there. All right, so we're gonna be talking. So I got a computer, folks, and I'm learning how to use it. All right, I got the email set up. I got a couple of your guys' emails, and I'm happy to see some responses to the show. That's awesome. The computer is weird, It's so tiny, but yet you can fit so much stuff in there. Like my VHS rack over there. It's filled with VHS. I mean, you can only record something up to like 2 hours on those damn things. But on the computer, man, I can store so much data. I'm trying to learn the ropes, all right? I'm not the best with it. I know Eddie, he's got a computer of his own.
It was my father's computer before it passed. It's Windows 98.
I'm still trying to figure out the internet. There's a lot of crazy shit on there. It kind of pisses me off. Every time I open up that little home page or whatever, it's just filled with propaganda.
Oh man, I have a computer. I've had one for a little while. I use it to tune cars and whatnot. Buy them off Craigslist. I know Ed does that over there as well. He's the one who actually got me into that. He flips cars. I just buy them and collect them.
I've been dabbling a little bit into that YouTube, and it's pretty cool, folks. There's a lot of videos and stuff on there that you can watch. Ed's has been kind of handling like the YouTube side of this podcast. We don't really know exactly what to do with it.
Well, yeah, it takes a few days to upload because I'm using. I forgot what type of technology it was. Hold on, let me think about it. Dial-up?
Is it dial-up? Yeah. See, I got that Wi-Fi stuff. My wife's got one of those little smart book things. It's been helping the business and stuff. My wife's got her side business, and she's been doing kind of some of the business side of my properties and stuff like that. When I was on the internet, I stumbled across a lot of propaganda. Too much, all right? It's a filthy place, It's like Pandora's box. You can't unsee some of this shit. And I dabbled a little bit into the social medias. I contemplated making some accounts, but I'm kind of afraid to do that yet. I feel like it's like getting the mark of the beast,
Well, social media, I've dabbled with it myself as well, and it's amazing just how much people just like to argue. I've just learned that for some reason on social media. That's just what it's become now. You go into any comment section for anything nowadays. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know the same thing. I'll go on to YouTube to look at some of those truck videos. I love watching those videos, and I look down in the comments. I'm like, what the hell? These people are just calling each other faggots and stuff, and it's just like I don't get it. I mean, we're all friends here, right? I thought people would use the online web services to be nice to each other. Instead, it's just a invisible shield to talk shit and let out anger, and it's.
I don't really go on there. I'm afraid people make fun of me.
Well, why would people make fun of you, Eds?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm more of a closed book. I don't want them people finding out anything about me. These people don't know me. They don't know anything about me. Why?
All right, and social media, it's just one of those things. It's like, Twitter. What I mean, what is that? That's just, I mean, a bunch of followers. I mean, I don't understand the purpose of it.
My father always told me not to be a follower, but to be a leader. And I'm sick and tired of these people calling themselves followers. It's like a cult.
Well, yeah, I agree. It is like a cult, you know. I mean, like, just click and follow, hitting like as they go by it, just because.
People just seem so desperate for attention, you know, like individuals. Like, you know, I can understand if you're a business, maybe you're trying to get some outreach, you know, you're trying to gain a few customers and stuff. See, that would be a good reason to be on being online, you know, helping people and such. But some of these people, they're like, you know, self-made entrepreneurs or people who just take a bunch of pictures of themselves without clothes on.
Yeah, and all the people sharing memes, you know?
Yeah, those memes, I don't understand what it is. I mean, I've seen some funny ones. I can agree. I can get on that, but some of them are just so damn bizarre. And you know, people, they're not even speaking English on the internet these days, folks. I could barely understand what I was reading.
Well, especially with these emojis.
Yeah, I don't understand these emojis.
Are we converting back to hieroglyphics? What the fuck?
I'll tell you, it really does seem like America's taking a few steps back, at least our youth.
Why is everyone so obsessed with eggplants, all right? Like, why is that emoji used so damn much, all right?
I hate eggplants,
I hate them, man. They were
Eggplant
terrible.
is so disgusting. What the fuck is a meme?
It's like a picture. I've seen stuff on there, you know, about like some confused looking black guy, but with a funny headline on it. It's kind of funny. I mean, but we used to have kind of like memes back in the day, but they were like printed. We put them on our toolboxes and stuff, you know. It would basically just be like, you know, a satirical advertisement for like a product, you know, and we thought it was funny. We'd stick it on our toolboxes, so we had something to laugh about at work.
Yeah, I mean, I just had titties on my toolbox. You know, the memes were pretty funny too. I enjoyed those on other.
See, I guess us older folks, we're just more simple. Fucking all these little letters that don't make a word. I don't understand what they're saying. You know, like RFL. LOL or whatever the hell that is. Well, what the fuck are they saying, all right? Just say it.
It's too dumbed down. They can't type a full sentence. They got to turn it into an acronym.
I can't lie. I have a difficult time typing myself. I'm trying to get used to it. I mean, I used to have a typewriter back in the day. You got to really click those things down, though. It's like real punchy. And, you know, if you fuck one letter up, it's like... So you would type slow. Some of these motherfuckers typing like goddamn little Asian kids or something, you know, fucking, you know,
like a
those
robot?
proteges or whatever, those, you know, prodigies. I don't understand, man. I type slower than molasses, but, you know, I get my point across, and, you know, even if it's going to take me 15 minutes to write it.
Well, people do sure run their mouth a lot on the internet. Them damn liberals.
It's everywhere. It's propaganda. That's what I'm telling you.
They're always trying to get me to sway towards a certain side. It's just...
Yeah, I don't really like getting into politics, you know, especially on them computers. Like,
yeah, you can't win. They'll bring you down to their level. And
social media seems to be changing, you know, society as we know it. All right. And I personally think that we're living in the great social war era. All right. There's a social war out there. Do you see it? Do you hear it? Do you feel it?
My son was talking about a great meme war.
But what do you think social media is really doing to folks out there these days?
Well, I think it's brainwashing these young folks into believing what they don't actually believe. It's really sad to see all these minds influenced for the worse.
The ones who are swaying them are the worst. They're the social justice warriors.
The social justice warriors. I mean,
Listen
come on,
here,
get out of
folks.
here.
They are rising problems that do not exist. They're blowing things out of proportion.
Yeah, with all this rape talk.
Yeah, and they're trying to push laws that shouldn't exist. I mean,
The First Amendment says I can say whatever I want as long as it's not a threat. But these people are getting so worked up, and whenever I say I don't think gay people should have rights, they always get on my case, and I feel like they're personally attacking me, and I don't stand for it.
well, maybe it's the hormone difference. You never know. I mean, hey, it's true. Some people are born with chemical imbalances, you know, and you can believe that. And just about every goddamn teenager in this country is on some kind of fucking whoopity-doopity prescription drug that's completely altering their mind and keeping them.
All these drugs for these young people are fucking them up. Back
Yeah.
in my day, if you had depression, it was called get a job.
Exactly. You know, for people who are, you know, having mental issues at a young age, I just don't understand because, you know, go back, you know, 30, 40 years. What was going on then? You know, when you were at a young age, you had so much ambition that sadness was not really a thing. You know, you didn't have time to be sad. You had to work. You know.
No, that's right. Because you know what you did when you were a kid as well? You went outside, you played, you met real friends, friends that you talked, friends that were in front of your face.
Now all these people have today are they're online friends, and you know they're not really there, so you can't really call them your friend.
Yeah, how do you drink a beer with somebody over the internet? It's just impossible, you know?
No beer emoji will ever satisfy the craving for ice cold beer.
Hallelujah to that.
I can see why if you have friends that you don't see and you can talk to them over the wonders of the internet, making these people your so-called friends that you've never met in your life is just pathetic. Back in my day, I made so many friends. I got Joel and Gene and my best friend here, Dale.
Yeah, and see, that's important, folks. And it's not about how many friends you have, too, and how many followers you got. It's about how important those people are to you. You know, like the smaller friend groups. I don't want to have 600 friends, all right? It's just ridiculous. Or even some of these people are, you know, I got, 30,000 followers or friends. It's like, you don't even know these people. Some of those people could be criminals for all you know. I know my cousin Randy, he had one of those bad experiences with someone he met over the internet, went to go meet them in real life. Turned out to be that it was that television show called To Catch a Predator or something like that. He got his 5 minutes of fame, but he did go to jail for a long time for that one. He had to pay some fines. And I mean, that's another thing, for social media. It's like there's some pros, there's some cons, and some of the pros would be, this information can stick around for a long time. That's great, When you got like, say it's like 200 years into the future, you can reflect on moments that actually happened back now and see. You got pictures and videos being shared all over the place. If social media existed 100 years ago, we would be able to hear, what Abraham Lincoln was talking about. That would have been pretty cool.
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865.
Well, yeah, we know that, but
that's more than 100 years ago. So I'm confused on what you mean there.
Well, you're missing my point. My point is that if say there was recorded video or audio of these people speaking, it would give you a much closer to home kind of picture of as to who they were and who they are.
We would have been able to document completely World War I and World War II.
I mean, basically, our presidents are like celebrities nowadays, all right? They're all over the TV. They're all over the newspapers. They're all over the internet. Hell, they even got social media accounts and talk to people. That is totally bizarre. I mean, when you go into the future and look back, you'll be able to see their feeds and all the information that they put into the internet and everything that's about them, and you'll basically know them. You would almost be able to construct a complete idea of who these people were. That's one of the pros of the internet, I'd have to say. The fact that, we can do this show digitally and Ed can upload it on his computer so that you folks can hear it. That's a miracle to me. All right. And another thing I wanted to mention was, stuff about like fake news that's been floating around. See, when we was younger, we had a lot of books, all right, and books floated around. Some of these books date, back 100, even 150 years old. I've got a couple of. God bless you over there, Eds.
Sorry, folks.
If we wanted to learn something or we were interested in, a certain topic, we'd look in a book, and that's the thing with books. You feel like you can trust the publisher and the writer a little bit more because it's published in cited works. Some elaborate information in there too. Educational book, how-to books, stuff like that. Encyclopedias. I've got a couple encyclopedias, 2 times the size of the fucking New Testament. And it's incredible information in there. Some of it dates back to, like the 1970s, when those books kind of came out, the encyclopedias that I have. They have information on there that probably doesn't even exist nowadays because it's been overwritten and added and subtracted so much that it's not even the same thing. But it's like back then, you could trust the work that you're reading, It's just more realistic. But when you go on the internet and you click on these goddamn articles, it's like, who the fuck are these people? Anybody could be a journalist. Anybody could be, some kind of, I could tell you how to do this and how to, and
That
And-
WikiHow site.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can I trust these people? You know, they're not published authors. You know, their shit hasn't been looked through by people collar ties and gay shoes. You know, you can't be putting false information out there in the world like that, because then people start believing it, and then everybody's wrong, and then you get into all these arguments online. How do you feel about that, Joel?
You know, I feel like the fake news, it's kind of a propaganda of its own. You know, it's like the dumbing down of America and the world in its own sense, because, you know, the younger generation is really looking to that as their news. You know, so many people aren't watching TV news, reading the paper, reading what's actually happening in their area, you know, in their country. The problem is they're learning about celebrity topics and stuff like that sells, you know, that sells magazines, that sells, you know, you name it, subscriptions. It's become so much about greed and advertisements and commercials and sponsors instead of real news and what really needs to be said, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly. Go ahead,
I
Ed.
agree. All these people are just trying to make a buck, and I mean, I kind of respect them for that, but not in the way they're doing it. See, there's a difference between me and some guy on the internet being a fool of himself. I'm being a hard American worker, and this guy on the internet is posting a fake story about what's happening in the Middle East that nobody can really fact check, because we don't know what's going on over there. It's like a third world country.
And like you said about making a quick buck, it's like some people are out there just to try to get their hands on a little bit of money. I don't know if these people are getting paid very much for these articles, but I guess something like you get paid for the amount of clicks you get and the likes you get. I mean, people are making some serious cash out there on the internet, folks. And it's that's another con to it. It seems like a dirty place. I mean, I like places with credentials. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, I could walk down to a Burger King and get a burger, and when I go there, it's like I know I'm at Burger King. I know what I'm getting. I know I'm getting the Whopper. You know what I'm saying? But you go onto these websites and you clicking around and you're expecting something. You're expecting some good cold hard evidence, and that's not what you get, folks. It's just not what you get. You get some worked up little liberals' opinions about some bullshit, and this kind of ties into social media and crazy sumbitches. Is that Mark Zuckerberg guy? What's his deal, man? Is he a fucking robot? Listen, I know I'm not trying to get into current events and stuff like that, but listen, folks, something weird's going on out there, and I've read a little bit into it. You know, I've done my research. You know, it seems like the man is some kind of computerized, cyborg.
That is definitely a violation of my right. But I'm gonna have to say, if you're stupid enough to sign up with this guy and not read his terms and conditions without going through every tiny bit and making sure you're safe, it's like selling your soul to the devil. You just check this little box.
Pretty much. How do you feel about it, Joel?
Well, you know, I gotta throw one thing in here, man. This might be a little off topic to say the people who were interrogating me acted and moved very similar to Mr. Zuckerberg.
Yeah, kind of like almost like a Terminator, kind of
Very much so.
wearing
Imitating.
sunglasses at night, folks.
Yeah.
That is a red flag. And that's another thing is that, I know that this Mark Zuckerberg went under questioning and everything for all the information leaks and shit like that. And, people, turn your phones off. They're listening to you and everything that you're saying, all right? Where's this information going? I don't know. God knows, all right? And it's just one of those things, you got kids on the internet too. That's what's even more fucked up about it. I don't think you should be using the internet until you're, old enough to drive a car, all right? It's just not a safe place for you to go. I don't care how educational they say it is. There ain't nothing more educational than a publicly cited work or a book,
Yeah, especially with all that fake news. So that's, we can go back.
Exactly. You got all these 12-year-olds thinking they know everything,
but they don't know shit about this world.
I say, where did you get that information? Oh,
The
the internet. And I can't trust people like that.
See, we got this guy making a news story, and what he's doing, he's just exploiting all them poor kids in Africa. And
Exactly, making a few dollars off of it, not to mention.
making a few dollars, and got all these advertisements on the page. It's like I can't even load up the damn site with my internet.
And even on the TV more recently, folks, I've noticed, I'm watching footage from some of these crazy global events, 9/11 happens, right? It's all crazy. The world's all fucked up. And, it's a great moment for America, though, because we all kind of come together. And nowadays, these crazy outbreaks of violence and shit happens, and then you're watching the news for 5 minutes, and they cut to commercial break, and they're showing me advertisements for like Pepsi Cola and some shit. All right, what? No, what? You think that Pepsi or fucking Coca-Cola or fucking candy bars are gonna bring the world together? Hell no.
Back in my day, we had one news station, and it was like channel 4. There was no advertisements. It was done locally. It was a locally broadcasted show.
Well,
But see, the difference between news is they're only trying to make money off of these people. That's why they got all these advertisements and bullshit stories and stupid ass headlines. Donald Trump fucking did something wrong, but then they don't give the full story. They take it out of context.
exactly. It's like, come on, man. And not every person is gonna be able to dig to the bottom of this. All right. And even like with Trump and that guy, that Putin guy, you know,
Yeah.
that's their business. You know, I'd rather see the country come together with other countries than to be separated and want to go to war and blow shit up.
We don't need to go to another Cold War. I lived through some of that, and that shit was terrifying.
You know, if I want to blow shit up, I'm going to do it in my backyard like a true American should. All right? That's why I fucking have property and places to do this stuff. All right? I don't know what this Make America Great stuff is all about.
Because America has always been great.
It always has been great. What are your thoughts on that, Joel?
Yeah, America always has been great. I mean, it's the land of the free. Look at what we have. Look at what we can do, what you can make of yourself here. All these people out here who are complaining and whining, they're not doing shit with their life. They want a handout. That's what they want.
Look at all these people in the Middle East. Look at all the women at the Middle East getting their hands cut off. And
We love women, man. There's a women Ghostbusters.
yeah, like, that wasn't really my favorite movie. It wasn't a good movie to me, but whatever floats your boat, Joel.
See, but I agree a little bit with what both of you guys are saying, especially you, Joel. It's like people want to complain about the unemployment rate, but you're not going to complain about the amount of foreigners coming into the country not lifting the goddamn finger.
They're getting money from the government. I'm a true American. I'm not getting any assistance from the government.
Have you ever seen Eddie living off of food stamps? No. I mean, I've seen him steal food, but, you know, that's from corporations.
My kids may only have macaroni and hot dogs every night, but at least there's food that I paid for or may have not paid for, but at least I was using my own money when I did pay for it.
And I would hate to live in one of those little government-funded, tiny little complexes where people live, you know. Oh, I don't make enough money per year, so I'm going to go live in this little box that the government built. Come on, man. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the fact that, you know, us other Americans have to spend our tax dollars on that is, quite frankly, retarded, all right? It's like the money's going nowhere. I mean, come on. We're trying to push forward, man. We're not trying to have homeless people living on the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, you know, funny story there. You know, I have Section 8 housing across the street from me, you know. And my God, you know, this woman out here, she's got a new man every week, and she's kicking him out every week, screaming outside, people doing burnouts out of the driveway, kicking rock onto my grass.
Let me guess, they're under the age of 25.
Oh, yeah, you know, she got 2 kids as well. You know, you name it, smoking cigarettes out on the porch constantly.
See, those people right there deserve to be grouped up, put in camps.
All right, Eddie, I'm going to stop you right there. I do believe those people could be lifting fingers around this country. There's something
They
to
could
do
be lifting
for
more
everyone.
than fingers.
I mean, come on, look at the dirty roads that need cleaned up. I mean, there's trash everywhere. What the fuck are you people doing, all right? You going to fucking throw trash on the streets and places that you live in? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, there's work out there that needs to be done. I mean, don't think locally. I mean, think abroad, you know? There's work in the
Think
world.
bigger.
Think
what
bigger.
Not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Damn, that is fucking American right there.
That
Can I
was
get a yeehaw
That
for
was
that one?
quote from one of our presidents.
That was fucking incredible, Eddie. You know, thank you for spilling some good quotes on us there. America, just let that be a reminder, folks. Don't think about yourself so much as, you know, thinking about others and what you're doing to support, you know, the local economy and your local governments. You know, that's what's going to get this country forward. All right. And I think that about wraps it up for this segment of, you know, talking about the social media and what it's doing to this country these days. And, you know, we're going to move on. We're going to move on, folks.
Amen, folks.
All right. How's it going, folks? folks. How you feeling over there, Joel?
We're gonna do the show right now, man. Let's get it going.
We're sitting here with Joel Bradley, as y'all know. All right, and
Your pal Ed. Don't forget me.
and my good pal Ed over here, my co-host, and how you feeling over there, Joel?
I'm feeling ready for beer.
Hell yeah! All right, and kick us off for this next segment. All right, we're gonna be talking about some technology.
Technology, man. What do you want to know about technology? I mean, except for how fast it's going.
Oh man, it's going a million miles a minute.
You know, it's hard to keep up with it. You know, it's like, you know, you buy something, and then months later it's old. There's 2 new versions of it.
Basically, you're correct. I mean, back when, you know, you buy a new tractor, say, all right, it's going to I mean, you're buying something that's going to last the next 50, 75 years if you can keep it going that long, right? It doesn't get particularly outdated. See, we're America, you know, we're home to the, you know, the fastest supercomputer in the world. All right, we got supercomputers, we got fucking MIT out here. All right, like Eddie, you know, he's running on Windows 98. I mean, you know, that's damn near 20 years old now, and it's pretty outdated. You know, you buy something, couple months passes, you know, you buy a new one of those damn fucking 50-inch television screens. Next week they're gonna have the 60 inches out for sale. You know, it's just like that.
Well, I mean, I just fuck. My allergies are
digging for gold over here.
well.
Yeah.
My allergies have been fucked ever since fucking whenever spring started. My allergy medicine doesn't even fucking help. I had to go down to the pharmacy, and goddamn, all the old folks there just need to fucking die. They're in line getting their prescription drugs, and I'm just there for a simple fucking fill up on my allergy medication. And these fucks, there's like a line of 30 of them. I didn't even know
They need their blood thinners and stuff,
Well,
you know.
I
on
didn't
the
even
verge
know
of
there
a
was
heart attack.
30 old people in this goddamn town just fucking in line at apparently all at the same time. God, I just wish they would fucking die. I mean, God, they
All
just
right,
sit
Eddie,
there.
My God. I mean, listen to this man. Listen to the nasally tone of his voice. You can just tell he needs his allergy medicine.
But, I'm just sitting
I
there.
mean, do you remember? Do you get non-drowsy? I mean, or do you just get drowsy and stay awake and have a good time? or
Well,
something
I
like
mean, whatever's cheaper. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
cheap for not having health insurance.
And that's another thing, folks. You know, as far as technology goes, it has helped, you know, keep people, you know, in better conditions. You know, say back in the day, you know, you get like cholera, you know, you're dead. You're just dead. There ain't nothing that's gonna heal you. All right,
Yeah,
you get
you
cholera,
think-
you drop dead, man. Just like that. You know, you get all sorts of parasites and tapeworms. People were living with that shit all the time.
Listen here, folks. I love America. I do. But, like, colonization is something, we made up, really. Like, let's be real here.
Exactly.
They had
And-
their tribes. They had their governments, essentially. just
It's
structured
crazy
differently.
because you know the white men, you know, the Europeans that came across here, you know, they didn't know what they were gonna find. You know, what they did find was, you know, an opportunity in this country. I mean, imagine it. Imagine America. There's no major cities. It's all basically just wooded areas and mountains and, you know, real pretty skies and stuff like that, and tobacco. All right. Had plenty of tobacco, just like I'm smoking here, you know, Marb Reds. Where do you think that comes from? Comes from America, pretty much, all right?
American
Virginia.
spirits over here.
Yeah, it all comes from America, folks, you know, tobacco, you know, that was one of the founders of this country right here. And that's where we start talking a little bit about technology and the advancement. It's growing and selling, you see, all right? I think I know what I think you folks know what I'm talking about here, you know, growing and selling. It's not like we came over here in a magical vortex. We didn't just appear over here. I mean, we came on ships, you know? Big old ships. The Mayflower, for instance. Everybody should know what the Mayflower is, all right? If you don't,
You're not
look it
American.
up, all right? Go read a goddamn book. Did you even go to school? How long was that voyage on the Mayflower to get over here? It's like something like 2 months, some shit like
Oh,
that.
yeah, man.
But
maybe even
nowadays,
longer.
You got those cruise ships. You can get across the ocean in about 4 days.
Hey, Eddie, you're thinking, I'm thinking even larger than that. I'm thinking
Well,
you
planes.
can jump on a goddamn airplane and you can fly across the pond And something like, if you're leaving from like New York City, you can get there in like 10 hours, all right? 10 hours, that's a day, folks. That's like just a day. It's like 300 years ago, we're all over here starving to death, basically, trying to figure out how to exist and colonize, And then you get your boats, and your boats turn into bigger boats. Then all of a sudden, it's like we got to build a railroad so we can get across this goddamn country way quicker. Because, as most of you folks know, this country, America, as it was hundreds of years ago, wasn't just conquered by Europeans, You got other people trying to get their hands on this land too.
The French,
the
Mexicans,
the British. They're all fighting for it. Hey, and it's a beautiful land to fight over. Come on. Next thing you know, there's big old America, the United States. From coast to coast, sea to shining sea.
Well, just think about it. 800. Well, we colonized this land. What 1684?
Something like that.
I don't remember. I ain't a genius. Just think about we had no technology that was of use. We just invented guns, but since the Stone Ages, we've found a way. We've been progressing, but as soon as America was founded, we've just skylined since then.
Basically, exactly.
It's because of the United States that we have all this technology we have today. You do look at those third world countries and say, oh, they're a great help to our technological advances. No, you don't.
Look at the Industrial Revolution. All right, what happened here? Amazing. The way things were made in production lines and assembly, and the level it's growing to. Robots are now doing these.
Yeah, how do you feel about going over to McDonald's, And then fucking you go in there, you say what you want, and all of a sudden a robot's spitting it out right there for you. You don't even come on. That's just thinking, folks. You got to think smarter, not harder, all right? You let the robots do the work for us, and then we get to do other things that we're destined to be doing,
Hey, man, I just want some Taco Bell now.
You're a 16-year-old kid, and you're thinking, I need work, and I need to make money, and you go to work at McDonald's. It's like, who should be working at McDonald's? Nobody. The goddamn robots. Give them the job. Hey, it's going to put me out of work. Hey, well, go find something else to do, all right? There's way more important work to be doing.
There's a lot more harder jobs than making a fucking burger at McFucking-Donald's. Now, most of these people are immigrants. I don't know what else to call them. They're taking the low-level jobs, and
I see what you're saying over there.
They're not really helping the economy because they usually just send the money out of the country. They're sending this money to Mexico. They're spending it there, helping the Mexican economy in quotation marks, because it really isn't an economy. It's more of a dictatorship that all these people have to cross the border because their country is so shit, and they complain when they're not getting all the benefits they can suck out of America.
Well, and let's take it back another 100 years, all right? And imagine, folks, America's starting up, like what Joel over here was talking about, the Industrial Revolution, We had foreigners coming over to this country giving us great ideas, and they truly wanted to benefit this country, and take it even another 100 years back before that, slavery, all right? It's a very controversial subject, but if I do recall, who was out there fighting for this land during the American Revolution? It was black men too, alongside white men. We were on the same team. We're fighting for the same people over here, folks. You got to remember that. Guess what? We're all together now, folks, and that's what matters. We're fighting for the same land over here, all right? And we've had some great foreigners coming over to this country, bringing great ideas and wanting to advance technologically and socially our world as it is today, It's for the greater good, folks, all right? You got great inventors like, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, they came over here from across seas, man, to help us out. And they sure as hell did, man. We couldn't have bombed Japan without Albert Einstein. You got to think about that.
Well, I want to go back on the fighting side by side in the American Revolution. People are so stubborn about slavery and what actually happened. We did not go on the shores of Africa or go inland to Africa and stole these people out of their cots. These were already slaves. They were being enslaved by their own people and being sold to us for a price. It's not like we stole these people. We are not thieves.
If anything, we brought them to a greater land. And I'm not just talking about the blacks. There's other people who are enslaved too. You got to think about the people who came from the South, like the far down South, like the South Americans and stuff like that. Irish.
The
all
Irish
of them.
people were enslaved, and it did not look pretty for them.
I mean, did slaves get starved? Not to death.
Well, I'm going to go back on that and say we did not start slavery, even though all the people today said we started slavery. We just tapped into a business. We needed labor, and they had labor. Okay, they would die if we had. They would have died no matter
Eddie,
what.
most of the slaves that came over here were not paid. They were fed, all right, but they weren't exactly paid.
But guess how they were living in Africa? They would have died no matter what.
I think the important thing to look at here now is to move forward. Look at the opportunities that people have here in America now, and how can they move forward and be happy with your life. Make something of it. Don't be angry. Don't be angry at the past. Move forward. Make a better life for yourself. Get out of a nasty situation. If you're in a bad situation, work hard. That's what people do. That's what life was about.
Exactly.
I'm not saying slavery was good. It was definitely a bad part of this society we have. But to say that white people today are responsible for that, even though my family never owned slaves, we were just hardworking Americans, and that has continued along the bloodline.
Exactly.
I don't see how I should be compensating these people that were never enslaved or never slave, how I should or how they should get free college because they're a different race than me.
It was a rough past, and everybody should be educated on it. Everybody should be educated on that. But guess what? Look forward, folks. Over there, you can see a shining light. You know, what is that? It's the future. All right, it's the future. All right, and what I was gonna say earlier is, talking about the railroad. The railroad, man. When it was first built, it served its purpose. We were getting from point A to point B. And it's funny because nowadays, it's like you can go to basically any museum and learn something about the railroads. And in our town, there's a few trains that pass by and stuff. They're loud as shit. You can hear them coming from miles away. But now look at today, folks. It's funny because you rarely see very many trains on the roads, except for out of cities, coastal cities, if I may. Up there in the Northwest or like California, out in the Pacific, Washington and stuff. The railroad, folks, is about to evolve. And I don't think you folks realize how it's about to evolve. Soon, we're going to be having those underground tunnels that'll have those electromagnetic strips, and they're like trains, right? But they're not trains anymore. They're like floating on the tracks, and they go 700 miles an hour, and they take you from point A to point B in 30 minutes instead of 30 days. All right.
Wouldn't stopping be hard?
I think that would probably have a braking system that was, similar to that of like a airplane where you slow down at a slow rate so you don't break your necks or spill your guts or vomit your brain or anything like that. It's a lot of G-force, and
the astronauts have to get training for this. Would people who have to get on this train have to get training for?
That's a good question, Ed, and I think you'd have to be well, let's just say not a dumbass individual to be getting on one of these things, all right? And, that's just technology that's kind of lingering around the corner right now. People are trying to get into that mindset of, throwing solar panels up on their house, maybe trying to think about, hey, can we run our house off of a battery? Joel, yeah, tell me some more about that. And the energy savings. I mean, it's incredible, right?
It is incredible. It's super easy to install, honestly. The investment is paid off pretty quickly, to be honest with you. It's one of those few things that I was interested in is power. I like to have shop lights on pretty much 24/7. I was running up a huge bill, welding.
Yeah, I mean the government's gonna fucking tax you up the ass for using all the electricity.
I've heard that solar panels have a lot more waste than regular power sources.
Where'd you read that one, Ed? Was it on the internet?
No, it was in it was a newspaper article.
Really? And what did it have to say about waste?
Well,
What kind of waste?
like the solar panels itself, and
Well, that's interesting, folks. But I think it's probably a lot better than people getting trapped in those coal pits and all that stuff. That seems like it's more waste, more carbon emissions to me. I mean, come on, you just thinking about the bigger picture.
So, wind is another good one. That's another good energy, in my opinion.
Hell
And some
yeah.
people don't like the look, but they put those windmills in big open fields.
Dude, windmills have been around forever.
Who cares about the view, man? It's just another field. Like, really, that's my
Exactly.
opinion of it. Like, they put them nice enough out of the way, and it's just energy that's being harnessed from what the earth does. Like, I like stuff like that. I like nature. I think we all like nature here a lot. We go on camping trips constantly, like hunting, you name it. It's cool to be able to live off of nature in a sense.
Exactly. And folks, get ready because I think we're kind of ending the near of like the need for oil and stuff,
Well, I don't agree with you there because we'll always need a need for oil because
All right, yes.
you can't just eliminate all the old cars and say they don't need oil. 'Cause
All right,
they're,
well-
they're always gonna need oil, as in gasoline. And you also got to think of the other stuff, like my 4-wheelers and my tractors. I'm not putting that shit. I'm not plugging that shit in, letting it charge. I want to put some gas in it and let it go.
So Ed, think about the gas prices right now. All right, I have a performance vehicle today. I filled up $3.50 a gallon. That's only gonna go up. That's their plan. They're not gonna cut it up. They're not gonna cut it off, but it's gonna become a much more limited resource.
Yeah, exactly. Eddie, do you
Well,
do you
just
harvest
think-
your
just-
own oil?
I do not.
All right, and where do you
But-
think we get that oil from?
We get them from third world countries that have no better use of them.
Well, see that's the thing,
But
folks.
let me just say one thing.
Is that the government is in control of your oil
Well,
supply, all right?
well,
and they're fucking
just
you in
gotta-
the
You
ass.
just gotta wait it out because once all of these fucking idiots switch to electric cars, well, they're gonna have to lower the price of oil if not as many people are gonna be buying them.
No, the prices are going to go up.
No, think about it. It's simple Reaganomics.
Well, you got to think about the bigger picture here, all right? Imagine the carbon emissions coming out of China, right? It's so bad that you got to wear a goddamn face mask when you're walking around, all right? But think about America. Would you want America to be a place like that?
We already got a place like that. It's called California.
No. And God damn it, Eddie. It is kind of a shithole. I don't like California. I hate Los Angeles. That's a shitty place for shitty people. But, let them be them. Bygones be bygones. But guess what? I don't want to live in an area with dirty air. I mean, come on. We only got one planet here, folks, and I want to try to survive on it with clean air, reusable energy,
Well,
got to be recycling and shit.
I'm talking about. You know how you guys are talking about solar energy?
Yeah?
Those panels, once they get old, they can't be recycled or dismantled and used for other shit. It can't be recycled, so it's just piling up and piling up. It's another thing of waste.
Well, hey, that's another thing. Is like, hey, maybe technology in the past, in the past couple hundred years, it's like some things, some inventions, it's like, oh, that's going to be useless in the next 10 years, but can we think of a way to make it better along the way so that it can last longer or be recycled? It's called progression, Eddie. You'll
Well-
learn about that.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Wall-E? Those people become so technological advanced, they don't see what's going on around them. They fucked up the Earth, and they're just like, let's make a spaceship and go up to space. And then they realize they fucked that shit up too. Everybody got fat. See, that's what's
That's because
happening.
they're living in no gravity.
Well, that's what's happened nowadays.
Well,
Well, that's a plot point in that movie. If they're in space, everybody would feel like they have no weight. So why the fuck were they immobilized?
Well, that's a good point there, Eddie, but I'm going to get a little combatant, all right? It's like, okay, so technology, it can go one or two ways, man. It can go evil or it can go, benevolent, It's like the greater good or the greater evil, you know what I'm saying? It's like we could take technology to the point where, hey, it's just all like fucking crazy atomic chemical weapons and we just want to bomb everybody and say, oh, we're the leaders of the world now. But that's not the way we're going, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're trying to go towards a direction where it's going to help everybody, because guess what the world needs right now? After give it another 100 or 200 years, this planet is going to be so populated and it's going to be, we need to think about other things. We don't need to think about going to work. The robots are going to do that for us. We need to think about, expressing ourselves and trying to understand the origins of the universe.
Well, we can't always have robots do everything because no matter how smart they get, they're not going to be able to have the same sense as a human.
That's true, and that's why the humans will still always be there. And of course you're going to need humans that can operate on these AI, and robots and
Fix
stuff.
them when they get broken.
Fix them when they get broken. Make
Yeah.
sure they don't fucking pull a Terminator on us, a fucking Skynet.
That shit's fucking scary.
That is scary, all right? You got to worry about that. But that's what I'm saying. There's two different paths we can take here, folks. We can take the safe, nobody gets hurt path, or we can take the selfish individual, I'm going to fuck some shit up on the way path, All right? I mean, think about the automobile, for instance, It was a great tool, and it still is. But guess what, folks? It's been evolving every step of the way. Every year it's getting better and better.
New model every
Now,
single year. And
now
you
we've
just
got
can't-
the option, to say, plug your car in, and you're not paying for that
That's
oil.
gay talk.
If we focus on the bigger picture, everybody could be thriving, and we could all do the things we love. You like Ed, you could be working on cars all day. You don't even have to worry about money, because guess what? Your house runs off of free energy. Don't got to pay for that.
But
your
guess
house-
what? That's not what our government.
Your house will
our-
become a natural human right because you get a house. Everybody gets a house.
That
right?
sounds like communism to me.
No, it ain't communism, because guess what? The economy doesn't turn into one person gets all. It turns into everybody gets the same. I don't care who you are. You all get the same natural born rights and abilities, all right? If I wanted to be a painter and just paint, I could just paint just to have fun. I don't have to sell it or anything. I could give it away for all I care.
Well, how are we going to instate all this stuff?
Well, you see, that's
that-
just going to be hundreds and hundreds of years of technological advancement to help us become better humans. The collective consciousness or whatever.
Evolution of humans.
It's
really.
the evolution of humans, all right? We're getting a step closer, folks. But we got to make sure that we're not taking backward steps along the way,
I think we've already taken backwards steps.
Yeah, and that's where the story gets a little dark, Maybe we are. Maybe we are getting a little behind on ourselves.
I
in
mean,
some
we
areas.
are, in a sense, greed really is what powers this country and the world, essentially. I don't mean to call out this country. I
That
mean,
is a
this
sin.
world.
Out of all of the sins, that's probably one of the worst.
Yeah, and it's what's caused war, famine. I mean, you
Well,
name it.
I mean,
it's what
it's
has caused these
greed is
events.
like the root of all evil. That people have started wars for money. We shouldn't care what's going on in the Europe, as long as they don't fuck with us. I mean,
Well, see, if every single person was aware of that, then that would have never happened, But that's back then. That's before the technological advancement, social advancements. But now we're at a point where it's like we can keep that shit on check, can't we? Can we at least try, America? We can try to do that.
well, pretty much with Afghanistan and Vietnam. Fuck, I don't remember.
Eddie's been brushing up on his history, folks. Give him a clap. Give him a round of applause. But anyways, Eddie, maybe we're taking a couple steps back in some areas, but I think overall it's going to get better and better. Hey, the world could be a lot worse right now. Think about it. Think about how bad it could be right now. You know what? We've got threats to look out for that aren't even human. Aliens, for instance. What the hell is this all about? I've been seeing lights in the sky. We've talked about this on the show, folks. Has anybody been reached out to by these creatures? I mean, come on. That's what we should be worrying about. It's like, if everyone wasn't so busy looking at their goddamn phones, they could be looking up into the sky and trying to figure out some of these answers.
Well, I've already been probed. I don't want nothing to do with that shit. I'd rather just hunker down in my house with an anti-air gun on the roof of my house, shooting down all these motherfuckers that try to anally probe me.
See, well, that's just it right there, Eddie. I think that we're too primitive compared to life that comes to visit. We really are. I mean, they look at our situation with how we separate ourselves from each other as a single species. I mean, you think about what we could have accomplished had we all been together this entire time. No wars, no conquering. That's what they've achieved, essentially. Those who have traveled here.
Exactly. I'd like to see more. NASA or like the telescopes and stuff, and taking a look out there. There's a lot of potential out there. I mean, Earth is our planet. It's our home. We need to take care of it, folks. Because one day the world is gonna get so fed up with us that it's just gonna decide to kill us all. It's gonna say, "Hey,
it's gonna release
listen,
a plague.
motherfuckers, I can't deal with this stress anymore. Here's a volcano. Here's a super volcano. Here's a couple of earthquakes. Fuck you all. We'll try this one again. Restart."
Well, I mean, like, that already happened with the Black Plague and killed so many people in Europe.
Well, and shit like that's happened even further in the past too. You like the dinosaurs. Yeah, I think that the Earth just sometimes just has to like respawn. You know, it just like in one of those damn old video games. You know, you just kind of respawn. You know, kind of reset everything. I mean, it takes a long time to us. It could even be a million years, but
It's like after a forest fire, burns it
That
down
shit
and
will
it
grow
comes
back,
greener.
but it'll take longer.
yeah, but it'll grow back greener. That's a really good message there, Joel. I like that. But folks, I think that's been enough about, social revolutions and technological revolutions and, where the human species could go from here. All I know is I want to hop on one of those bullet trains and, go from here to,
Taco Bell.
maybe even, up north, maybe take a trip up to like Canada or something. It'd be fun just to hop on a train and be able to, go wherever you want on the continent. That would be dope, That'd be so cool. Anyways, folks, this is Dale's Garage, with Ed, of course, and my good buddy Joel. And we're going to be coming back in with a new segment soon. We're going to take a quick little break. All right. All right, folks, and how y'all feeling out there? I know Joe's feeling good over here. He's nice and smoked out. I know Ed's feeling good over there. He drank a couple beers. All right, and next segment we're gonna finish this podcast on. I'm gonna just read some emails, man. I got my computer up and running, and a couple of you guys have actually reached out to us and sent us your thoughts, and I'm interested to see what we got over here today. So I'm opening up this first email. Give me a second. All right. Oh no, this one looks like someone was kind of upset. All right, so so it reads, are you fucking kidding me? Dale, you are a moron, and Ed, you are a fucking racist idiot. Vegetarians should all go die on an island together? That's fucked up. Women shouldn't make as much money as men? I seriously can't take you idiots seriously. I hope this is a joke. You rednecks sound fake as fuck, and I hope y'all get fucking incarcerated. You deserve to be in prison for life. Ed, you say you care about animals, but you killed a fucking chimp. You also obviously don't care about gay rights, so fuck you. Hopefully you die in that jump you have prepared. Dale, hopefully you die when you are lighting the cars on fire. Have a nice day, assholes. From Kimberly K. All right, Kimberly K. Those are some pretty harsh words. Jesus Christ. Well, Kimberly K., first of all, you're a dumbass. I can't believe you actually took the time of the day to write me instead of going to that new retarded vegan restaurant in your hometown to meet up with self-conscious friends. Thank you all for misconstruing our words and calling Eddie a racist. We are not racist people. We have many different folks in our lives that are from all sorts of different necks of the woods. And Ed did not kill a chimpanzee. That was EJ practicing his own free will. And more power to him. He's got more brains than you'll ever have. Have fun meeting up with strangers from the internet since you're clearly so desperate for relationships that anyone will do. You set high standards for yourself, Kimberly K. I hope you get kidnapped. Better yet, hope you die in a car crash with your friends because you were too busy texting at the wheel. Thanks for riding.
Well, I'm gonna have to say, me not caring about gay rights, that's pretty much right. Well, I have something to say about that. I don't care if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're one of them trannies. I don't care, because guess what? That doesn't make you any better than I am, so you shouldn't get that Pride Month, because who gives a fuck? No one cares about that because you're not more human than I am, so guess what? We're both gonna die, and you should just act like a human being.
That's a good point, Eddie. And all right, the only other email we got, let's see here. He says, "Hey Dale, hey Ed, love the show. Hope Ed's ass gets better after that probing. Happened to me back in the early 90s. Keep talking the truth, guys. Alan from Arkansas." Well, thank you, Alan from Arkansas. I'm sure Ed's ass will get better. Only time will tell. Watch out for the aliens, bud. We appreciate you riding us.
Thanks, pal. Thanks for caring about my asshole. That makes two of us.
All right, folks, and I think that's just going to about wrap it up for Dale's Garage today. All right, I want to thank our special guest, Joel Bradley, for coming out here, telling his story, speaking some truth. I want to thank Ed, my co-host. He's always a great guy.
Thanks, Dale, and I really appreciate you coming on to this show, Joel.
All right,
Sorry,
Joel. Is there anything you wanna? Is there anything you'd like to say before we shut this thing down, Joel?
Yeah, man. Hey, always a pleasure to be on the show, fellas. Great time coming over here. Smoking a bit, of course. And of course drinking some beers, taking some shots. You name it, whatever we're up to in here in this garage.
Y'all down to get some Taco Bell?
Oh yeah, we're about to go get some Taco Bell.
Sounds like a hootenanny to me.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a hootenanny?
Yeah, what did you fixed that limo up just recently, right? You bring that thing over here tonight?
Let's take that fucking
Oh
limo.
hell yeah, let's go do that, man.
Take
We're
a
gonna-
limo to Taco Bell.
Oh,
That
yeah,
sounds
let's
like a
do
good
it.
idea to me.
Sounds like my prom night.
All right, thanks, folks, for tuning in. This has been Dale's Garage with Ed. Have a nice night, folks.